Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. So today I want to talk about some possible scenarios that the Giants can find themselves in. This is going to be a series that I'm starting, and obviously there's not going to be one perfect scenario that happens. There are going to be things that change. I'm not saying I'm simulating something that is definitely going to happen. I'm going to do every single scenario because there's so many things with free agency, dominoes yet to fall, trades up, down, and different things like that. But we're going to begin today by my first scenario where Isaiah Simmons gets selected before the Giants pick. Now, the Giants fans would be devastated. The Lions, this is a possibility here. You could say Jeff Okudah is the next best defensive player, or the third best player, slam dunk pick, but the Lions may not think that. Cleveland Farrell went number 4 last year, so this is definitely a possible scenario. And so if he falls to us, we may be looking to trade back. And in this case, I have us trading back with the Las Vegas Raiders. This is the first scenario. So, obviously, Chase Young goes number 2. If he's available, we'd probably pick him. Honestly, I think it would be a bit hypocritical at this point to trade back because, we have a pride possession in Daniel Jones. And we have to protect him. Like, all of a sudden, we didn't want to wait to 17 to get him because we thought he could slip out of our hands. We missed out on a top defensive prospect so we can get him. We got to protect him, right? That'd be kind of hypocritical a little bit. Dave Gettleman has said we don't want to trade back too far. This is not likely, but I'm just going to see what happens if we do trade back to 12. What kind of prospects may we miss out on? So, at number 4, the Raiders would probably select Tua or Julian Love, but most likely Tua. The medical doesn't really all grade out 100%, but it's good enough. John Gruden says, screw wide receiver. This is a bad wide receiver free agency, and there are a lot of wide receivers that are potentially going to drop to us. But you know what? Screw it. We're going to draft the Tua. And so him and Derek Carr, they'll be interesting, but we're not talking about how this would work. We're talking about the number 5 pick because the Miami Dolphins are probably going to select Justin Herbert at this point. They didn't fall in love with Tua. It may just be a smokescreen, but they can't go back to their fan base and say, oh yeah, day 1 in the draft, we didn't get a quarterback. They can go for a Jacob Eason later potentially, but you can't go back to your fan base and be like, yeah, we have Josh Rosen. No, I think that they have to move on and get their quarterback of the future. No more delaying it. Let's go for a quarterback. And then the Chargers, it really doesn't matter who they get, whether it's Tom Brady, stick with Tyrod Taylor. They're going to need a left tackle. Ronald O'Kuhn got traded, and they need their left tackle of the future. And who do you want to pick? I guess it's Mekhi Becton. I'd mock him here. He's going to have the most hype, and the Chargers may fall for it. I don't think Mekhi Becton is going to be amazing, but he's strong, physical. He has a lot of the key traits, and you just got to coach him up a little bit more, and he may be an elite tackle of the future. I don't know. It really depends on where he lands. Number 7, the Carolina Panthers are frantically running up to the stage to draft Jeff Okudah, who falls all the way to number 7. And he's probably the second best defensive prospect. He falls to number 7, slam dunk. There's always guys like this who fall based on certain team scenarios. And, so I think this is a slam dunk for the Carolina Panthers. You don't go Derek Thomas. You don't go offensive line. You go to replace your cornerback, who probably is going to leave in free agency. Number 8, the Arizona Cardinals can all of a sudden flip their offensive line, or they can draft a wide receiver. They also have a lot of holes on defense. I think that they end up selecting Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. He's fast. He can help with that secondary run blocking. That was a major strength for them last year. All of a sudden, you can start becoming an elite offensive line. They had a guard last year. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's like AJ. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. They also have Justin Pugh, a guard and ex-Giants player who graded out as a 67 on PFF, which is better than Nate Solder. And they signed their left tackle to a 3-year deal, $15 million a year. All of a sudden, protect Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray ran himself into some sacks last year. Their offensive line was like 9th as far as adjusted sack rate and stuff like that. So they're doing pretty well for themselves, and you may look for Larry Fitzgerald's replacement, but in this scenario, I have them selecting Tristan Wirfs, the second offensive tackle off the board. Jacksonville is the hardest team to mock. They could go offensive tackle to help Gardner Minshew, their new starting quarterback. They could go for another wide receiver next to DJ Chark in this offense, and I think they still have Allen Robinson. I could be wrong, but available. They could go Derek Brown on this defensive line to start rebuilding it after guys like Telvin Smith have left, Yannick Ngakoue. They still have some pieces here. They may look to go corner, but I think there's better value later in the draft. Then number 10, the Cleveland Browns. They run up and get Andrew Thomas. Finally, they have their next Thomas. You had Joe Thomas, and now you have Andrew Thomas, their left tackle for the next 10 years, and hopefully he can make Baker Mayfield successful. They don't need a wide receiver. They have some young pieces on defense. I think that you got to protect Baker Mayfield. This is a slam dunk pick. And then the Jets at number 11. I may have mixed this order up, but they could be tempted to select a wide receiver to help Sam Darnold, but it depends what they do in free agency. They can get Jack Conklin at right tackle, and honestly, if they get Jack Conklin at right tackle, they may still drop an offensive lineman. In fact, I think they're going to select Jedrick Wills from Alabama. So you have 3 pieces go in the top 11 for Alabama. Pretty successful, pretty good prospects that they have there. And then the Giants are at number 12. And here are my biggest needs. So first of all, what did they do in free agency? For this mock, I have them getting a cornerback where there's Byron Jones, Chris Harris, Trey Waynes, James Bradbury, whoever it is, we get a cornerback. So we're good in the secondary. We have Julian Love at free safety and Antoine Bethea at strong safety. I mean, not Antoine Bethea. We're probably going to cut Antoine Bethea. So we're good with the secondary. I don't think we may get some pieces later in the draft, but I think we're fine there. And for the linebacking core, I have us getting Kyle Van Noy into the building. We also may get another linebacking piece, but for the sake of this, I don't think so. I'm going to be a little bit conservative here. And then for defensive ends, we retain Leonard Williams and Marcus Golden. Yeah, that's my scenario that I have us in. And for offense, we don't get any single piece. We're a little bit conservative in free agency. People think we may go crazy. We may get a piece here or there, like a strategic piece, but overall, that's what I think we're going to do. So our biggest needs at this point, defensive end, potentially. Yeah, it's because you need a guy opposite of Leonard Williams. Let's just say we're running a 4-3. Patrick Graham is going to be a little bit fluid. We need a defensive end. Probably need another linebacker and an offensive lineman. Dave Gettleman may show his cards a little bit, and we may get a little bit desperate here. Now, the 4 offensive linemen are off the board. Josh Jones is still available. Austin Jackson is still available. And I think I'm missing one prospect at this point, but you're going to get some secondary pieces. So it'll be definitely a big gamble. And at this point, AJ Epinesa, he was a little bit slow. People think he's not going to be able to rush the edge. And the Giants want guys with talent. That's the thing. So we may be tempted to trade back, especially now that CeeDee Lamb and Henry Ruggs are still on the board here. It's going to be very tempting for a team to do that. But for the sake of this, I'm going to have us staying pat and taking actually an offensive lineman in Josh Jones. Now, he has all the tools to succeed. He has 4 years in the NFL, in college, but he didn't really have great coaching. He wasn't able to develop a lot. Joe Judge may look at him and be like, yeah, let's bring him in. Let's teach him up. Let's teach him how to play. He can stick at right tackle for a couple years and eventually move over to that left tackle position. So Josh Jones from Houston at number 12. And then I'll have the rest of the mock up on the screen. And at number 19, we still have needs at linebacker and potentially defensive end. I want to stay away from a couple of guys here. Definitely AJ Epinesa. Igor Gross-Matos is going to be tempting. A guy from a small school, I think BYU. He has a lot of tools to succeed, but ultimately I think the Giants go for guys that have talent. Patrick Queen, he's fast, he's explosive. The people say he just needs time. He just needs time. He only started pretty much for 1 year at LSU because of injuries and whatnot, but I think Patrick Queen is going to be a great pick for the Giants at linebacker. He's fast. He has great instincts. He just needs to be coached a little bit better. And I think Joe Judge is going to look at him like a prospect, and we're going to be excited to bring him in. So you take a look at our roster. After the first round of the draft, it goes as follows. You have Nate Solder at the left tackle, Josh Jones at the right tackle, Nick Gates and Will Hernandez rounding out the interior. You could potentially go as center in the second round, but I'm not doing that. Then wide receivers, you have everyone you had last year. And Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, obviously. And for defense, you have your secondary is fine. And then for your linebacking core, Patrick Queen, Ryan Connolly, Marcus Golden, and Kyle Van Noy. And your defensive line has Leonard Williams, Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence, and, backups in B.J. Hill, whatever. I think this is a pretty good defense. The only thing, I'm not too sure, we miss out on our top prospects. It depends on who and how we grade these top offensive prospects. Because if we settle for the 5th offensive lineman on our board, I think that's a loss, especially since you're only dropping to number 12. if I were at 12, I'd almost trade back and keep on accumulating assets at this point for a team that may want to jump up and get a wide receiver like a like a Buffalo Bills or something like that. Or maybe a Minnesota if they end up trading Stephon Diggs. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. Should the Giants trade back? Let me know if you think this is an unrealistic scenario, realistic scenario. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.